We've all heard that old rule about it taking 21 days to form a habit. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the real secret to making a change that actually sticks isn't about habits at all? What if it's about, well, completely reprogramming your mind from the ground up? In this explainer, we're going to walk through a blueprint for doing just that.
I mean, you've probably been here, right? You get this huge burst of motivation. You tell yourself, okay, this time, it's for real. And then, a few days, maybe a week later, you're right back where you started, just wondering what happened. It's this super frustrating cycle. But what if I told you it's not actually your fault?
Okay, so let's get into it. For the next 21 days, we're not just, trying something new. We are following a very specific plan to totally rewire your brain. The goal is to get your mind to a place where it doesn't just put up with success and focus, it actually starts to crave it.
So here's our roadmap. First, we've got to understand the enemy, why our brain fights change so hard. Then we're going to move through 3 distinct weeks, starting as the observer, then becoming the builder, and finally, the leader. And by the end of all this, you'll have installed a brand new operating system for your mind.
All right, let's start with the absolute core of the problem. Look, the reason change is so difficult isn't because you're lazy or you don't have enough willpower. It's because you're in a constant, invisible battle with your own brain's programming. I mean, this is programming that was built for a totally different world, a world where anything new was probably dangerous and saving energy was the key to, not dying.
So this is the fundamental tug-of-war that's going on inside all of us. Consciously, you want to get better. You want to grow. You want to achieve things. But deep down, your brain has a much older, much more powerful mission. Just keep things safe. And to your brain, safe just means familiar.
You know that weird, uncomfortable feeling you get when you try something new? That's not just in your head. That's a biological alarm bell ringing. Your brain is literally flagging this new thing as a potential threat just because it's different. It couldn't care less if you're unhappy or stuck, as long as you're in a pattern it recognizes. And this is so important. We have to completely reframe that feeling. Discomfort isn't a red light telling you to stop. It's the sound of construction. It is literal, tangible proof that the rewiring process is actually working. All right, on to our first phase, week 1. For these first 7 days, you have one job, and one job only. Become an observer of your own mind. That's it. We're not trying to change a single thing yet. We're just watching. So your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to just pay attention. When do you say, I'll do it later? What thought pops into your head right before you grab your phone? What are your go-to excuses? Just notice them. Maybe jot them down. But the key is no judgment. And this is where the magic of week 1 happens. Because the second you consciously observe one of those automatic patterns, you break its spell. You take yourself off autopilot. You create this tiny little gap between the trigger and your normal reaction. And that tiny gap, that's where all your power is. Now, as you do this, your brain is going to start pushing back. It's going to feel weird, maybe even a little pointless. But when you start to feel that resistance, you gotta smile. That's just your brain testing you. Kind of like it's asking, hey, are you serious about this? That feeling is the ultimate proof that you're making real progress.
Now we get to week 2, the builder. And let me be honest, this is where most people fall off. The initial excitement is fading, and now the real work starts. This is where you forge real strength.
The mission for this week sounds incredibly simple, but it's not easy. Your new rule is you have to act without negotiating with yourself. You don't get to have a debate. You don't get to rationalize. You definitely don't get to wait until you feel like it. So what does that actually look like? Well, when the alarm goes off, your feet are on the floor before your brain even has time to offer an opinion. When it's time to work on that big project, you just open the file and write one sentence before that little voice can whisper that you're not ready. No negotiation. See, this is how you build real momentum. And momentum is so much more reliable than motivation. Think about it. Motivation is a feeling, right? It comes and it goes. Momentum, that's like a physical force. It's something you generate yourself through action, no matter how you're feeling. And then something really cool happens, usually around day 10 or 11. You start to notice you're hesitating a little less. Your focus is a little bit sharper. These aren't just feelings. That's neuroplasticity in action. You are physically carving out new pathways in your brain just by repetition. Which brings us to our final and, honestly, our most powerful phase, week 3.
You've watched your patterns. You've built momentum with action. Now it is time to become the leader. You're not fighting your mind anymore. You're directing it.
Okay, pay really close attention here, because this might be the most important part of this whole thing. You can never outperform your own self-image. It's impossible. If the story you tell yourself is, I'm the person who always procrastinates, guess what? You will always find a way to procrastinate. Your actions have to match the story you believe about yourself.
So, we reprogram that story with a dead simple two-step process. First, you state your new identity. Say it out loud. I am a disciplined person. I am focused. And second, you immediately back it up with proof, with the actions you've already been taking for 2 weeks. You're giving your brain hard evidence that this new story is the truth.
And when you do this, something really profound starts to happen. All those disciplined actions that used to feel so foreign and scary to your brain, they're not anymore. Now they feel familiar. They feel safe. Success starts to feel like home. It starts to feel like you.
So, after 21 days of this, of observing, building, and leading, what have you really accomplished? I'll tell you, it is so much more than just a new habit.
This is the ultimate payoff. You have installed a completely new mental operating system. This is an OS that doesn't need a motivational YouTube video to get it started in the morning, because it runs on self-generated momentum. It runs on the satisfaction of getting things done.
And it is so critical to remember this. Day 21 is not the finish line. You didn't just survive some challenge. You build the foundation for the entire next chapter of your life. Now, growth is no longer something you have to force. It's just who you are.
So, all of this leaves us with one last really powerful question. The blueprint is right here. The path is clear. The only thing left is your decision. Who will you decide to be starting right now?